Welcome to Supernaut, where we explore the inner and outer dimensions of the self. Today we have on Johnny Ackerman. Johnny was born in 1933 in northern Poland. He had his town taken over by German military in third grade for 3 years, and at age 23, he took the 5-day boat ride over to New York City. So, Johnny, I asked you to pick a song for us to listen to before we started. What song did you pick?
Yeah, John Denver. Yeah, yeah. That's the kind of music I like. There were so many top tunes. You can pick anybody in the late '40s, early '50s. It was a fantastic movement of single person singing, and just John Denver used to happen to be one of them that you know enjoyed listening to. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Rocky Mountain High by John Denver.
Yeah, yeah. Rocky Mountain High by John Denver. No kidding.
Hmm.
It's just a fantastic voice that he has, and it never seems to get old to listen to it. No, that's for sure. Hmm.
Everyone describes you as a kind, encouraging, and positive person. Did that attitude come naturally, or was it something life taught you?
That's a pretty damn serious question. I might have that from my mother. My dad was kind of an aggressive, looking forward, always trying to do something for the family, make sure that everything was well provided. But my mother was much more laid back and kind of took care of the family because we had a large family through the years, and then just make sure there's food on the table, which was difficult during the war times and especially after that. So where do I get that from? I have no idea. I don't know. No.
Has it helped you in life to be that
It might
encouraging?
have helped me applying for a job to say, okay, I know I can do that, or I'm able to do that because I've done it before, or and I might have a little bit of a problem when I was a boss.
Hmm.
If there were jobs going on that seemed to take a long time, I would have a tendency to, but damn it, let's get this over with. I can't do it as quick or whatever. And that sometimes that might have rubbed off a little bit because I was a foreman for about 15 people at one time in a maintenance business at the plastics plant. And that went on for many, many years. Maybe at one time or another, some of the guys said, "Well, Jesus Christ, if he can do it better, let him do it." But that kind of attitude, and I probably still have a little bit of that. I don't know. I don't know.
The guys that golf with you say that every shot that anybody takes, you are encouraging about that shot.
Well, yeah. Well, it makes a person play better.
Yeah.
If you have fun to play golf, and the guy hits a beautiful drive, or if my slice or that hook, at the same token, maybe I could help him change his grip a little bit to say, yeah, what the heck, oh yeah,
Mhm.
oh definitely. Golf is gotta be fun, and it is a lot of fun. Holy crap! So I wish I was better at it, but it's fun. It is absolutely a great time. And I know, some of your maybe not relatives, but the kids I played with, Steve Hooker's kids, for instance,
Mhm.
and the son that he has, Chad's son, he's just a
Max.
fantastic young man. I just love to play with him. He's so outgoing, such a nice personality. He's just super. I got a couple of pictures of it at home that we had during the deer season. We had a great deer camp together, and all the Oakers family was involved in that. Steve was a buy-in, and then the boys took over afterwards. And I have some great pictures at home. It's just looking back at those, it's just fun. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
As far as did it help my aggressive attitude? Which I think I probably did a little bit. I don't know. Some people took it good. Some maybe a little bit of a smart ass, whatever. No, I don't think I was that part. No, but I had a decent schooling. Able to speak several languages. That helps a little bit. So I no, I had a great. The school system in the Netherlands was really good, super good. Yeah. Yeah.
Can you tell me about in third grade when the German officers came to town? You can remember the exact
Well,
moment,
I was
right?
sitting in third grade. We had a schoolroom, probably about the size of this room, with windows. And we had fifth grade, sixth grade, seventh grade, eighth grade, ninth grade. A room maybe twice, three times this size, with windows. And the street was 30 yards on that side. And all of a sudden, heard music. I'm sitting by the window in third grade. And here comes a small regiment of German soldiers with music, probably a regiment of 40 people.
And that was uncommon. That wasn't something that had
That was
ever
during the
happened
war.
before.
That was the beginning of the war, 1940. It was the beginning of the war. And this was 1943 when this happened. The war had been going on for 3 years already, and the Germans were kind of being moved out of Europe into the northern part of the Netherlands and back into Germany towards the Hamburg and Bremen area because that's where we lived in that line. So and they stayed with us for holy cripes, I don't know, probably a year from 1944 to 1945 when they were chased back into Germany. And we would march for them in the mornings. They exercised and got used to 30, 40 soldiers. We didn't go to school, but we were uh, educated by the teachers that them took us in private homes. So the teaching kept going on. But when you're in seventh, eighth, sixth grade, it's not probably not that difficult to teach uh, uh, compared to seniors in high school comparisons. So,
Was
yeah.
it scary or just normal?
Well, after a while, you get used to it. You know,
Yeah.
well, the whole war was scary. It was a matter of uh, shortage of food.
Yeah, because you had to
We
grow.
had to have a garden. I mean, my dad rented a piece of property where we had a garden, and we had to turn it over by hand and plant vegetables, potatoes. There was no meat. There was no meat.
For how long did you not have meat
And if
for?
you want some sweetener, you boil some sugar beets. See, the crop growing kept going on because the Germans shipped it all out east, all towards the eastern front. When they invaded Russia, they needed food to supply with them, and that went on for like 2.5 years.
Mm,
That all the food that was being raised was shipped, the good foods.
mhm.
But if there was a cow that died or a horse that died, there was a slaughterhouse in our town, a small slaughterhouse, and a guy on his bicycle with a bell would ring a bell and drive through town.
Yeah.
You were lucky to get a piece of meat from a horse. That's about it. Yeah. And that was in 1944, 44, 45.
What would your parents tell you kids about it? What would they say? What were their feelings at the time?
Well, I was just a young man. I was born in 1933, so I was only 7 years old when the war broke out. What do I know about it?
Hmm.
Well, they were worried about getting food on the table. Yeah. My mother and we lived in a farm community. The farmers still had cows. The cows had. My mother would go in the mornings at 4:30 and help the farmer milk cows. And she always told me how fast she could milk cows. She could like 9 cows she could milk. She was the fastest. So, and of course, that helped us because you're able to take some milk home.
Hmm.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was a tough time for, especially the last 2 years. The first 3 years, 1940, 41, 42, 40, we didn't know much about the war until later on when the bombers started flying over. You would not believe, at night, we lived in a line between England and Bremen, Hamburg, and Germany. Direct line. And in 1944, the bombers start flying over, B-52s. I mean, like 100 at a time. At night, you can see it. And you can see the streaks of the firing of the Germans shooting at them, flares. It was probably early 1945 when the bombers flew over during day raids. And you would not believe 30, 40 of those big bombers at a time flying over a town. And one was shot down.
You saw it?
Yeah, well, we saw it. We saw when the Germans picked up the pilot
Wow.
in our town, and they had him in the back of a truck, and he was shot in the leg. And I'll never forget. We walked over there as kids. We walked over there in the back of a German truck. He said, "Yeah," and that was right above our little town in the northern part of Holland. Yeah. Oh, I was, but like 50, 60 airplanes at a time flying over later on those big bombers. Then pretty soon, boom, if you could hear it, that close by. Yeah, it was a crazy upbringing uh, for a young person. You know, when you're 12 years old, and, you know.
Yeah, that's surreal to think about that you actually saw that we
Yeah,
only see in
I'll
movies.
never forget that. I mean, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a crazy deal.
Was there anything you were missing from before the German officers
Oh,
came?
yeah, I was missing Santa Claus not bringing any presents.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, with Christmas coming up.
uh, well, yeah, the food shortage, the
Hmm.
food shortage, that was terrible.
Yeah, as a young kid, was it so hard to understand? We had food and now
Yeah, you
we,
had all the food in the world here.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
exactly. The food shortage was wicked. Yeah, you know, when you don't have any milk and you don't have any stuff like that, you don't see any ice cream for Christ's sakes. No,
yeah.
no, none of that stuff.
Did you get closer with your neighbors?
Well, we had neighbors. We lived in a small town. We had neighbors on both sides.
Yeah,
Uh, we got along with that. The problem is there were a lot of sympathizers that belong that actually were pushing for the Germans. I would say 10% of the Dutch population was pro-German.
so was it hard to know who you could trust?
Oh yeah, yeah. It you just remember now. I was young,
Yeah,
so you know
yeah,
the question you're asking. I can only remember those from what I could see the parents talk about.
yes,
You know, yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
and you have to be very careful what you said because if you were anything pro-German at all, well, what they call an NSB or a National Socialistic Bewegung, they call that, you were pro-German. Yeah, yeah. And, you know, it all started in the 30s. The 30s were difficult, no different here. The 30s were very difficult years of uh, struggling through it. Yeah.
Can you remember any acts of kindness from other people in the community?
Well, there were some acts of kindness, yeah, especially when my mother worked for the farmer and they would give her some extra stuff. Oh, no, there was no doubt about that. Yeah. Or the neighbor next door, he would have some apple trees behind the house and we were able to get some extra. Oh, yeah. But there wasn't much to give. The town we lived in was not a very well-to-do town. The farmers on the outside, they were well-to-do. But
Hmm.
the interior, we had a bakery in the middle of our town. But you know, there was nothing going on. Country was at a standstill. It was at a standstill for especially from 43, 44 into 45.
Hmm.
We were dominated by the Germans until they left.
Do you remember hearing that the war was over?
Yes, 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 yes. Um, it was probably the 15th of May, 1945. The troops were already within 10 miles from where we lived. We knew that. They were moving north. There's a large city that we lived 10 miles from on the north side of it. And they were already bombing that city. So we know that the Germans were being chased out. Yeah.
Hmm.
And the night before the war was over with, they had left. They left on a horse and wagons back into the small border town into Germany, which is probably about 30 kilometers or 18 miles, whatever. And they left the night before. And they escaped back to Germany, although it didn't help them because the war was over with. Yeah.
Did you celebrate?
Celebrate? Yeah, we were just happy.
What did you do to
we
celebrate?
when we got liberated by Canadians,
Okay.
all of a sudden we had large trucks coming into our town, and they stopped. They celebrated. And they set rockets off with flares, beautiful, because those were the same flares they used to find bombers, and they were using those. They were shooting those off. And they had the whitest damn bread I have ever seen. I'm not kidding you. And they're Canadians. Yeah. Pure white bread. It was fabulous. Wow. I remember, I mean, us kids walking up to the back of those trucks when they came into town. Yeah. 1945. The Dutch have the red, white, and blue flags and orange flags. It's a kingdom or whatever, and the large orange flags are from here to the wall. And all of a sudden, quite a few of those came out. You were not allowed to have a flag out during the war. Oh my God. Red, white, and blue, and then orange, with the House of Orange, they call it, which is a kingdom. The queen was Wilhelmina. Yeah, she was the queen, and they all went to England. All the family of the royal family in Holland all went to England, and that's where they survived the war. Yeah, they were not in Holland.
Okay.
They all went to England, and of course it was only 40 miles away, and England was being bombed pretty heavily. Wow, no kidding. The V2 ones, the rockets, and that was pretty wicked. Yeah.
So looking back, what do you think that experience did for your life? Anything positive or just negative?
Well, let me put it this way: don't ever go through a war.
Yeah.
It's terrible. And just the size of the bombers flying over, the noise at night being shot at, knowing what's going on. When you're a child, it's probably totally different when mom and dad are worried about the kids. They're worried about, yeah. Oh, we should never have another war. It's terrible.
Did loud noises scare you for a long time?
Well, at night when you're laying in bed and you hear boom, boom, you see flares and rockets and planes flying over within probably a quarter of a mile above you.
Yeah.
Like 50 at a time. Scared, absolutely, because there was no protection. We didn't have any place to go. We laid in bed in a small town and the direct flight pattern. No kidding. That was the scary part. Yeah. No kidding. That was the scary part.
So then when you were 23, you took the boat ride over to New York City. What was it like when you got to New York City?
Well, let's see now. We got a message all of a sudden. Dad applied for immigration. It took 3 years before our name came up. And all of a sudden, we got a message. You have to be in Rotterdam the 29th of January. You will be leaving on a Dutch ocean liner and immigrate. So get your visas, get your papers, and be there when the ship leaves. So we had to go into the city of Rotterdam and
You had to sell everything?
Yeah, and that was a matter of weeks to get rid of it. Although we know we were going to immigrate, so some of the household was slowly. You were not going to buy anything for sure. So with suitcases, and a lot of a box, probably the size from here to the wall, where we had some beautiful furniture, old style furniture, that were all put in that box. And that was shipped on the same ship.
What was the ship like? Did you meet any new?
The ship is a beautiful ocean liner. What you see today. Yeah. You go. Have you ever been on a cruise? Oh, it looks like a cruise.
Yeah.
A cruise ship that size.
That must have been exciting.
Well, now, exciting and scary. Well, the war was over. It was exciting. What's going to happen? Yeah, when we left Rotterdam, we went to Le Havre, France, and then we went to the Cobb Islands, and then from Cobb Island into New York City. Yeah.
Did you
It
meet?
took 5 days. Yeah.
Did you meet any interesting characters on the
Well, we
boat?
met some people. It was a ship full of immigrants,
Okay.
and they were all going to Michigan. They lived probably about 5 miles from where he lived, because we knew those people. So the whole ship was full of people that were immigrating. Yeah. And they all ended up either in Michigan, or we ended up in Minnesota, some in California, whatever. Yeah.
How long before you went from New York to Minnesota?
Oh, it took probably a full day and one night. And it was a stop train. It stopped every damn little town that you can think of. And uh, and us not being used to colored people, we had black porters on board, and they were super nice. I mean, super nice. Uh, it was an experience. The train was loaded with people. It was actually a bad trip. From New York to Chicago, it stopped at every community that you can think of. It took like a day and a full day and a full night to go that far. And then we were lucky when we arrived in New York. There was a lady that converted Dutch to English, and she was with that immigration group. It was all pre-planned, and she helped us out getting on board the train. And then we got to Chicago, we had the same help again. Because none of us could speak English. We could speak English. Oh, it got limited, yes and no, and that's about it. So that was worse than flying. That train trip for a day and a half, or almost 2 days from New York to Minneapolis, was worse than being on a boat. The boat was beautiful, seasick, but it was beautiful. Yeah, and then we got picked up by the people that sponsored us uh, in St. Paul.
Did you have a relative in this area, and that's why you came to Minnesota?
Yeah, my dad. But they came 100 years ago.
Okay.
They lived south of Maury, were farmers.
On your dad's side?
Yeah, on my dad's side, right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they were Nick Ackerman, yeah,
Oh, okay.
and Henry Ackerman, farmers. And they were good. They were really worked out really well. And we stayed with them for 2 weeks until Dad found a job right away. He sponsored buying us a house. Yeah, houses were relatively cheap those days. And right downtown Mora, small home, perfect. So we moved into that.
And somebody took you under their wing. Who was it that took you under
Oh
their
yeah.
wing?
Well, I went to a trade school in the Netherlands. I was still going to night school, as a matter of fact. I was not only a painter, but as a sign painter. I had a really good job. I had a good job. I worked for a large sugar beet company. I was the painter at the plant. So I had really a well-paying job. 45. We still work Saturday mornings those days. Half a day. And I was still going to night school to further my education, because if you want to start your own business, you had no choice. You have to become from a beginner to a master craftsman.
Mm.
If you didn't have that master's degree, you could not start your own business.
Mm.
So when you were an own business person, you had that education. Yeah. So that was the good part of being. You didn't have any flunky that owned his business, because he was not able to.
Mm-hmm.
So that was good. So I was a painter, a sign painter, decorator, and there was nobody in Mora that would hire me. There was a place in Malacca at one time that had the painting business, but they were not hiring. So I was out of work, didn't have anything to do for about a month. Applied for a job at the big plant in Mora that made dairy equipment, a huge plant. They had like 500 people working there. So I was hired. Dad went to work. My dad was a welder. I mean, he was so he got hired right away, which was really good. And the wages, compared to what he was making in the Netherlands, was just fabulous. Holy crapes! Yeah. Anyhow, the sponsors helped him find a house, bought a house. I got a phone call about the middle of March that they would hire me at the same plant, polishing stainless steel, because they were a big manufacturer of equipment that was shipped all over the USA to make powdered milk and condensed milk. Sweetened condensed milk, you know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
It came all out of this big machinery. I mean, tubes this big and higher than this, and dryers the size of this room, where they sprayed and got powdered milk, and all made out of stainless steel. So that was a fantastic place. So I was hired, and I learned how to polish inside the shop. It was really a good foreman out of Ogilvie that kind of took me on my wings. He was really a super guy. Yeah, Don Wasson was his name, Wasson. And so I worked in the plant for 3 months. And then he asked, do you want to go travel with somebody and help install equipment that is being used all over the USA, powdered milk and that kind of stuff? Wow, what the heck? Adventurous, right? I mean, I didn't have a car. I couldn't even drive, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I like to try that. So the guy kind of took me under his wings.
What did you appreciate most about him?
But did I?
What did you appreciate most about him?
Oh, he know. He took me underneath his wings. He told me, he taught me how to drive. He taught me how to become a welder. Not only but all of those beginnings. I was ambitious. I was strong. I was physically in great shape. Uh, so I worked with him for probably a year. We traveled from Kansas to Mississippi to all over the USA in a pickup, but all the equipment on it that we then repaired and installed equipment. So after probably a year and a half of that working for them, they asked me, do you feel like you want to do this on your own? You be the boss. You be having your own pickup. Oh, God, it's an adventure. So I said, yeah, we'll give it a shot. So I had a helper that went with me. His name was Dickinson, Keith Dickinson. I'll never forget it. Just a super nice guy. So we worked together, we traveled together, we installed equipment, all within the US and Canada for about a year and a half. And then I was asked, you want to go? We have sold several jobs in Spain. Mm-hmm. Would you go with a supervisor and you install that equipment, being in Spain for whatever time it takes? Wow, what an adventure. And I think the reason they probably asked me to go because being I was born in Europe, I just left there, gave me a chance to go travel back to Holland from Spain, just a hop, skip, and a jump.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to Spain, to Granada, Spain, one of the most beautiful cities in southern Spain. Have you ever heard of the song Granada?
Mm-hmm.
Ik zing als ik droom als ik zing van Granada. It's a beautiful song. Mm-hmm. Anyhow, it is a town, it's built by the Moors. Moors on the outside of Spain, they're black people. They built a cathedral, probably, oh my God, the inside cupola was all mosaic, the little pieces of rock in there. So we stayed. We worked in Granada for like 3 months. We put equipment in, and that was really a fascinating town to be because the girls with the castanets and the dance. Oh my God, it's just fantastic. So that was fun. I went back to Holland, a couple of side trips.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, we got the job done. Went back to the more. We got the job done that needed to get done after 3 months being in Spain. Then we went back to the U.S. of course and started all over again, different towns, and then a little bit later on, there was a job in Brazil. John, you want to go to Brazil too? With another one of our people that would have been my boss. They kind of an engineer. So flew to Rio de Janeiro on a 24-hour flight trip and spent 3 months out there, just outside the Rio de Janeiro, inland. That was interesting. But it was an experience. It was fun. It was good. So that basically my job with those people. it was neat. It was a great learning experience, traveling all over the U.S. I spent more time in California than any state.
Mm.
Fabulous. California was just beautiful. I worked in 47 states, off and on, installing equipment in about a 15-year period. And then got tired of traveling. Kids grew up. So basically, that was my traveling experience installing dairy equipment. And then kids grew up, got married. A girl from Brunswick area, wonderful person, got married and had children, and got tired of traveling. The kids kept growing up, so I quit traveling and plastics plant in Moron. It had been there several years, and they asked me if I want to come in and work some maintenance equipment, some maintenance work. I done that for the next 25 years. And basically that's my life and more after that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been a great town.
Yeah.
Yeah, joined the JCs, joined the Lions Club, joined the Vassaloped, become involved in the community. Yeah, we done a lot of that.
When you went back to Holland, what was that like?
Oh, it was unbelievable just going back and seeing some of the people that I grew up with.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because my sisters were still there. It was
Okay.
not like,
Yep.
I hadn't seen them for a while.
Mhm.
So, because they did not immigrate. I told you earlier, they
Mhm.
didn't go. And so that was super. Spent a week there. That's all. Just a few days. Yeah.
What
Yeah.
was your first impression of America?
Pardon me. My first impression of America. It's big. It's a it's a long drive from. If you drive from St. Paul to Mora, you're driving across the Netherlands, east and
Mhm.
west. You
Mhm.
know, Holland is 1/3 the size of Minnesota, so
Mhm.
everything is big. Everything is far away. When you go up north, hell, you go 400 miles for Christ's sake from the southern part to the northern part.
Mhm.
You know,
What was your first impression of the people?
oh, the people are no different. The people are generous. The people were nice. The people were curious because we were immigrants.
Mm.
And I have been told certain things that maybe I didn't like. Well, why the hell don't you go back where you came from? There were some really jerks. There were some people who were not very nice, because I was probably a little outspoken, a little forward in my opinions at a time or two, and something I didn't like, whatever. Well, what the hell don't you go back?
So they only said that when they were mad at you.
Probably,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
mad or something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. But I loved it. I think the U.S. is fabulous, absolutely fabulous. At least you can say, well, maybe I don't like our previous president. I don't like this one, whatever. I mean, at least you have that opportunity, and just stay on an even keel side, so you don't get some people get very opinionated and get in trouble. No, no, I think because you have such a variety of people from different countries. Everybody came from someplace. You think about your great grandparents or grandparents, where the hell they came from.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. They
Mhm.
came from Norway or
Mhm.
Sweden, there was a tremendous amount of people from the Scandinavian countries,
Mhm.
Sweden especially. Yeah, yeah,
So the guy who took you under his wing,
yeah.
do you think that could be why you are so encouraging now? Because you had such an encouraging person.
Yeah.
Did he help you become the encouraging person that you are
Yeah,
now?
he's the one. He's the one that, after traveling with him, after about he was the foreman. He did all the welding. He knew all the polishing. He knew all reading the blueprints. He knew all of that.
Mhm.
He gave me that opportunity to work with him. He would let me do some of those things later on.
Mhm.
And after a year or two, and getting into blueprint classes and all that kind of stuff, I was able to do it then on my own. But
Mhm.
he's the one that helped me out. And I always appreciated that. Yeah. And unfortunately, he quit his job and left town, and I never got to hear about him again. You
Mm.
know, that was kind of sad. Yeah.
Mhm.
Dwayne Keister, never forget his name.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
So,
now you live on the golf course.
yeah,
Did you golf a lot last summer?
golf. I did not know how to golf until I was 47 years old.
Oh. But did you golf last summer?
Did I golf last summer?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Oh, sure. Oh, I will golf again this summer.
Good.
Hopefully.
I heard one year that you golfed your age.
Yeah. Well, you have to remember, the older you get, the easier it is to shoot your
Yeah.
age.
Yeah. What age was
No,
that?
no. It's been a long time ago since I shot my age.
Okay.
Long.
Okay.
Now I couldn't do that anymore, no. Although I can still play, pretty decent.
Yeah.
I can still beat Steve Oakers, so.
Ooh.
He gets pissed off when I do that.
Yeah. There's a story about you on hole 11.
Oh, you mean when I fell into water? Oh,
Was it a
who told
swamp?
you that story?
I talked to a lot of people.
Mm,
But was it water or a swamp? You were
no,
trying to get a
It
ball.
was on the edge of a swamp, where it was steep like that, a grassy surface, and my ball had ended up. It's a par three. It's a short hole, so I hit a 9 iron or whatever, and it landed on the edge of the water, some grassy stuff. It looked like it was solid. So I stepped on it, and I was all of a sudden up to here, my neck in mud. They had to jerk me out of there, put me on the back of a pickup on the tailgate on a blanket, and I was living in town. I went from there, took all my clothes off in my garage at home and jumped in the shower, and then back to the golf course an hour later.
And finished your round.
I have a picture at home that somebody made. There's no secret. John can walk on water.
Oh,
Johnny Check, a friend of mine, made that picture.
that's
He's
great.
still around.
I heard that you have a handwriting trick.
Oh, I told people I can write left-handed, backwards.
Backwards.
Yeah.
Can you
Well,
show
I
us?
can try it again. And I've been telling people, no, this is really odd. No, this is John Ackerman.
Okay. Where did you learn to do that?
I don't know.
Just did it?
Yeah. I've been teasing people. I said, the reason during the war I would write something left-handed and the Germans did not figure out what I was talking about.
Okay. Because that's what I had heard, is that it was a trick you used in the military.
I was
So the enemies couldn't
during the
see
war.
it.
I was a child. I had nothing to do with that.
Okay.
No.
Okay, so just a joke.
But yeah, it's been an interesting years living in Mora, Minnesota. I can tell you that. Some fantastic people.
You've painted the dollar horse a few times.
You know the story about the dollar horse? I was in the JCs many years back, many years back. And people had been in Sweden, the Swedish sister city of Mora. And when you go into Sweden, the province Dalarna, there's a dollar horse, huge, the same size what we got here. And I think it might have been Glenn Johnstone who was the original instigator that maybe we should have a sister city, being we were a sister city, copy a dollar. So the JCs were asked to participate in that. And there was a large group of people that were, well, I had belonged to the JCs at that time. And Denny Schultz was probably one of the first people that really got involved in that. And then we went to a farmhouse and we started framing. We said, the JCs are going to build a dollar horse. So it was a small farm out of town. A guy had a big building that we were able to go inside and frame it with angle irons and stuff. Put that on a hay rack, and when the framing was done, I mean, this whole big thing, and there was a pad poured, and he put the metal framing on top of that pad. And from there on, it was all filled in with different angles and welding this and welding. I mean, it's a huge project by a lot of people. And being there was a plant in town that make houseboats. You probably know that. They make
The
those beautiful
water.
houseboats and made out of plastic, fiberglass. So when the framing was done of that big, beautiful dollar horse, built to scale by an engineer, Mora, here that gave us all the measurements. That should be here, this and this. They came in and sprayed it. They brought their equipment and sprayed it. Yeah, and the spray color was, like this,
Bronze.
kind of a creamy color, and and when you paint over that type of spray, you have to have special paint, at least the original code, and that was supplied too by company in town, Botel, and I'm not bragging, but I was involved being in charge of painting the dollar horse. So got all the original coating done with some help, got it all smoothed out, and then I took a dollar horse that we had gotten from Sweden. I took a copy of that and used that design to and we had to paint the horse orange first, of course. That was a heck of a job. And then laying out the design. And basically, I was the only one that did that. And I'm not bragging, I was the only one.
That's great.
And laid it out, built scaffolding around it, standing on step ladders, and painted the design, the red, the blue, the white, and got that all done with. And it was done. Yeah. And then here we got it in Mora here. I repainted it every year for for the last 5 years at a time. And finally, about 5 years ago, there's a gentleman in town here. He was also a painter, but he was really on the high scale type, whatever. And he says, "Okay, we gotta find different paint than just paint." So he got involved, and we got the car company in town spray it, painted the design again, helped him with that, sprayed it again, and now it's like painting, like what you got on a car. You put a final coat on it. Now we don't have to do it anymore. At least not, for many, many years. Because it
For
got
5 years now?
because it has a coating on it now, like a car.
Yep.
It would last much longer than 5 years, much longer.
Yeah.
So that's been done now. That was super. And that's what you see today.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's so beautiful. Thank you so much.
Oh, the Swedes, they're fun people.
And you carve dollar horses. Did you bring one with?
Did I show you one?
Yeah, did you bring one with today?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't.
But you carve
But
little ones and
I
paint those?
I have a dollar horse I was going to give to you, and I forgot it at home.
Okay.
I paint big ones and little ones.
Yeah. Yeah, and you carve them yourself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I do all the carving. Yeah. I got a couple of little things. I think I might look at my coat pocket. I made a couple of little carvings for you girls.
Oh, a Santa Claus.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
I have one I have two of them.
So you were in the Lions Club, the JCs,
Yep.
were active at the Country Club,
Yep.
and the Vassalopet.
Yep.
Do you think service keeps a person young?
The JCs were involved with the swimming pool. That was the big project to start with. And then I became a hockey coach for about 14 years. Got involved with building the ice arena. And that was fantastic. Indoor arena in the town of Mora. Got involved with the JCs building a swimming pool. So all of those projects were not one person. They were a fantastic group of people. And there was always somebody in charge. So, and so you always try to help out, and
Mm-hmm.
if you're a member of the Lions or the JCs or the town of Mora, the indoor ice arena is fabulous,
Mm-hmm.
and most of it was done with volunteer work.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with the dollar horse, the swimming pool, the ice arena. It was an unbelievable group of people in the town that vast love it.
Mm-hmm.
It's it it was more so years ago than what it is today. I think
Mm-hmm.
maybe the people are more happy with what they have already. We don't need anything else or whatever, or not as aggressive or not as innovative. I don't know. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It seems that way to me, but I could be wrong.
Is it important that we work in groups like that?
Oh, I think it's if you want to live in a good community, it's important. Why do we have
Mm-hmm.
a beautiful golf course? Because we have a lot of volunteers to keep it beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
How many towns our size have a beautiful 18-hole golf course?
Yeah,
Oh,
I've heard
or
it's
or
the
a
best
beautiful
around.
or a beautiful swimming pool,
Yeah.
all done with those type of civic groups.
And none have a beautiful big dollar horse
Yeah.
like ours.
We're pretty lucky. No kidding. And that's what makes it living.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what makes the town
Yeah.
more livable.
Mm-hmm.
It's always livable, but I mean, those little added little
Mm-hmm.
things. Yep.
So all around, it's been a good, happy life.
Oh, I have no complaints. Oh my God. First of all, how lucky I am to get as old as I am. I mean, that's a certain amount of luck involved there.
Mm-hmm.
Not because I worked very hard at it. I didn't really spare my body. I didn't always watch my weight. I exercised a lot. I rode bike for 30, 40 miles a day for many, many years. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
30,
I
40
did. Yeah.
miles.
Oh yeah. When I lived in Summit Lane, I lived by the Dairy Queen. And
Yeah.
I would take that whole back road at Blacktop all the way around a couple of times. My bike. Oh
Wow.
yeah. Oh, I have the one of the awards in Mora here where I ran 80 kilometers and biked 120 miles and canoed 30 miles and skied 40 kilometers. Yeah. So I done that.
Well, I'm not surprised then that you're doing so well. So what?
I always try to stay in shape sort of physically. Physically.
Mm-hmm. Well, it shows.
Hmm?
It shows.
Well, yeah, but I enjoyed it. I
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed it because you feel good afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what's the secret to life?
Genes, you got to have the right family.
Okay.
There's no doubt certain amount of exercise, a certain amount of food. Oh, of course,
Mm-hmm.
you can live a much better life by doing all those right things, and you might even live a few years longer. But if you don't have genes in the family that are, in their 80s or 90s, whatever, and I've asked the doctors about that, and that's what they tell me too. He says, "Sure, John," he says, "eat good, eat the right stuff, exercise, but in the long run, you
Mm-hmm.
know."
What was the darkest or hardest part of your life?
But was the hardest part of my life moving away from Holland, immigrate.
That was harder than the
Oh,
war?
yeah, that was miserable because I was a young man. I took when I lived in the Netherlands. I took dance lessons. I was a soccer player, a very good
Mm,
soccer player, as a matter of fact. I have
mm,
pictures at home. A beautiful town to be stayed in. I was in an acting group. I was very much involved in the town we lived in. What the hell? Prime of my life, girlfriends, ladies, uh, and a lot of friends. Yeah, that was by far the toughest part.
Did you regret coming here once you
No,
were
well,
here?
um, I looked at it this way. At my age, I just gotten out of the service. I spent 21 months in the Navy and gotten out of the service. And I figured at my age, if I don't like it, what the hell? There's no reason that I can't go back.
Mm-hmm.
I know the language. I know the family. I know the town. I know the country, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's always the distances were not a problem. Everything was already flying by airplanes, and what the hell, it was just so that
Mm-hmm.
uh, immigrating to another country like uh, South Africa might have been different. We had choices, either Canada, the U.S., or South Africa, or whatever. My
Mm-hmm.
dad wanted to get out of the town. He just wanted to move. He said, "We're going to do some adventures. We want to make a better life for all of us," and he did.
Mm-hmm.
He did. Yeah, but me leaving when you're 23 years old, and it was tough. Yeah, it was, but I looked at it as being old enough that I could make my own decisions if I don't like it.
Mm-hmm. What do you think the purpose of life is? Why are we all here?
I'm not sure I want to get involved in that.
Oh, you don't want to answer?
Mm, I am not sure that there is a purpose, that there is, you know, we're offsprings of people that been around for 1,000 years. What did the beginners look like? We don't know. I'm not afraid to admit it. I'm not a very religious person.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I have anything against it. I think it's fantastic as far as with the health of the whole world. That
Yeah.
is you know.
Yeah.
But I don't get myself too involved in that to become obsessed with it or, you know.
So, if you don't think there's a purpose, are we here because of the Big Bang and evolution?
Yes,
Or that's what you.
we are
Yeah.
here because of an evolution. Obviously, religion affects a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
and religion affects a lot of people in their behavior, which is fabulous. When it comes to churches, everybody should go to church for the simple reason, my simple reason, there's a lot of great things come out of that, the teachings that the kids will learn. Do they want to later on to find out that religion is more than or less than, I don't know. Mhm.
What did your parents believe?
My parents were not religious.
Mm-hmm.
But my parents never went to church.
So, church is good for knowing how to live life, you think, but it's not good for worshiping anything.
I judge my life the way I live, not what the church dictates to me.
Mm-hmm.
I
like
know
that.
right from wrong
Mm-hmm.
because my mom and dad told me that.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can find that out through life. You'll find out what is right from wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm totally happy with that.
Mm. Great.
I have, you know,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My children are all born, they're all raised, they're all categorized, they all went to church, they're all still active in church.
Mm-hmm.
Carol especially, the oldest girl, she
Mm-hmm.
works at church every day, and she's pretty active. Now, uh, my other daughter, Joni, she lives in the cities. She's totally different. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it matters to her if she goes to church or not. She doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Not because she does not believe in certain things. They just don't go to church. You
Mm-hmm.
know. So my grandchildren, my great children, yeah, they all pretty churchy going people.
Mm-hmm.
I think the church institution is fabulous. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
No kidding.
But you're not expecting to go up into heaven after you die?
No, but I'm no, but but I'm dead. I'm dead.
Mm-hmm.
But I am, and I'm totally happy with that. I have no problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
Never did.
Yeah.
Life is over with. It's just done.
Yeah.
Uh, you know,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And like I said, I'm not afraid about it.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely not. So, nope.
Yeah.
I'm having a good life. I'm having fun. Uh, certain things that that I can't enjoy because of my age. The exercises is not kind of that all slows down, and my thinking process is slowly withering, or whatever you want to call it. Don't always find my keys. Or my daughter's Carol says, "Where's your phone?" I don't know. I said, "Probably in the bathroom." I don't know where my phone is, but I'll find it.
Looking back on your life, what are you most proud of?
Well, I don't know. I don't think I ever cheated anybody out of money. I've always tried to be. I might have told her maybe some little lies or two. I'm not saying that, but I never hurt anybody. I've treated my kids super. My wife, family.
Is there anything you regret?
I suppose there are certain things that you might like to change or like to done over. Uh,
How do you hope people remember you?
that's their problem.
Mm-hmm.
I have no control over that. I try to be fair. I try to pay my bills and meet my obligations.
Well, after everything you've lived through, war, immigration, work, community, art, what does it mean to be human?
What does it mean to be human? Oh, uh, if I was a dog, I'd probably be a happy dog.
Mm-hmm.
So I I'm just I'm just a normal person. I just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean? There are probably certain things in the last 90 years that I would have liked to have made some small changes in.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being such an encouraging person
Well,
to everybody around you.
we'll try to maintain that sort of attitude. So
Mm-hmm.
see what
Mm-hmm.
happens.
Yeah. It's been lovely talking to you. Thank you for telling me about your life.
I'm glad that you had. Well,
And thank you for creating so much art in our community and being so
oh well,
involved.
yeah. Those are some byproducts in life that some people enjoy it and some people don't. Uh, I enjoy I enjoy having friends. I enjoy being with friends. Uh, I'm not afraid to try anything.
All right. Thanks, Johnny. Thanks for coming on.
So here's to go with us, sweethearts.
Wonderful. It was great.
Yep.